get started. Good morning and welcome to the Commissioners' meeting for March 25th. Commissioner Hasbrook has an excused absence today. If you'll all join me in the pledge, and Gabby's going to lead us today.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gabby. Neil, did you get a chance to look at the agenda?
Oh, yeah,
Know of any changes?
everything's good. Make a motion to approve the agenda for today.
And I'll second. All in favor?
I
Aye. Rita, claims and board order claims. Looked like we had one junior tuition.
Mhm.
And then I had a couple questions. Neil, if you have any questions.
only had one, but
Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I got to get over to the page.
Okay.
You only answer one. There's too
Each.
many.
For my
I have
comment,
two,
you're only going
so
to give me
therefore-
one. I see how you are.
Back to where I highlighted. So on the Ignite Idaho, was that, we committed that like a long time ago, didn't we? This isn't something new on the 5,000?
I don't believe it is.
Or was this, did we get some funding in to finish up theirs? Because we had committed additional funds once we got the funding in. Wonder if that's what happened.
Unfortunately, I don't see
about that.
both sides of it.
Okay.
I just know that Douglas submitted this claim.
Okay,
This was one that he brought to me specifically.
okay. I suspect that this may be that second payment because we had approved it and then an additional amount whenever we got the funding in.
Yeah, I can check that
And
when I
then-
go back down.
I'm glad the sheriff just walked in. So the Valley County Gun Club registration, the 2350, we took that out of PILT.
Correct.
And I didn't remember that we had approved that out of PILT.
Doug,
I'm assuming the sheriff didn't have it in his budget because it wasn't budgeted for, and therefore we chose.
all I can tell you is when I gave the form to Douglas, that is where he put it. And he said, I would like the commissioners to sign it.
Okay.
So it's,
So he was just,
that's one of the board orders.
paying the bill. I don't know where he took it out of. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
The
remember
money
where
in
we
their account?
told him to take it out of.
Like,
I'm
He
pretty,
doesn't have the money for it.
You were asked to move range mid-budget. We didn't see that coming, so Doug
Okay.
said he'd find it.
okay.
Okay.
And what was your question?
I don't know. I haven't found it yet.
Oh, okay. Remind me to show you how to highlight. So you can go right to it.
You think it'd do any good?
Yes.
I will
do.
forget. You know I will forget. Oh,
It's
there it
easy.
is. No, that's patch material. I know what that is. We're right together. Yeah, never mind. Don't worry about it.
We got a minute. We got time. You need a question for?
Well, the only one I saw here, let me go back up, was professional services engineering for 36,000. And
For which
So
one?
that's in the road department.
it might be, let me go back up and see if that's road department. It doesn't say.
So Horrocks was in there in the road department. They're working on that bridge that's in the backcountry, I think.
It's not the Abstain though, is it?
No,
Mm-mm.
Abstein.
If it was abstain, it would say so, and I don't believe it is.
There was a couple for Abstein also, but.
Yeah.
Those are basically reimbursements at this point. We've got the federal funding, so we get
The
reimbursed. for those.
27,000 is for Lake Fork Road.
Oh, okay.
Co-energy? Do you have any idea?
That's fuel.
Oh, that's fuel.
Yeah, gas and diesel.
Okay, I just, it didn't click as to what
It's
it was.
it's a relatively new vendor. It's the same one that the state uses.
I know why we're using Horrocks for Lake Fork. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, but.
Yeah, at Horrock Engineers.
I'll have to
They,
ask
they
Jess.
use, they do a lot of
Jeff
stuff
that
with
one.
Horrock for the road department.
They do.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the claims, board orders, and junior college tuition.
We just had one junior college. I will
Yes.
second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So when they send in their application on the educational funds, so do we just approve the application up front and then they have to get reimbursement later, correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
the reimbursement actually goes to the college.
Okay,
I contact them and the colleges, and then the college bills us.
okay, perfect.
Is it just a set amount that we do with each one of them?
$3,000 total lifetime.
It's 500 per quarter, isn't it?
500 per quarter.
Okay.
Trace McKillop had called and wanted.
Have to be within certain schools in the state. So if you look
Where do I
just
sign
below
this
the,
one?
you sign the by.
Right here,
Uh-huh.
on all of them?
No.
Just on this one?
And then Gabby will sign on the other one.
So it's not just state schools?
No, it's the junior colleges, so the 3 years colleges. So I'll show you on the form here.
Okay.
Just a second.
I think there's 5 of them.
Yeah, the
They
one
can
that's
choose.
not listed on there is Fresnel.
Oh, community college, because they're in Caldwell now, aren't they?
Be careful.
Don't trip.
It's too late.
Oh.
I stomped on it and stuff. So crusty.
Eastern Idaho, North Idaho College, College of Western Idaho, College of Southern Idaho. Well, they get the whole state that way.
This is a new one.
I don't need to sign it.
No, you don't. I just returned it
Thank
too.
you.
I'm just doing it to confuse you. Thank you.
Okay, the assessor is out this morning and prosecutor is not here yet, so Sheriff Capari.
That's a quick fast forward.
Yes, it was. We'll see if the department heads show up in time. We may take a little break.
Well, it's spring break and it's a ghost town around here.
Yes.
Holy cow.
I couldn't believe, there's nobody going to the school this morning, which was really nice, but the fog was not really nice.
I know.
It
It's
was a
been
bad drive.
Fog was rough.
foggy year this year. So basically average daily population is 40 in the jail. IDOC inmates 26.
So does that,
I'm
so
sorry.
that, the 40 includes IDOT?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah.
Is
That's,
there a
that's
reason,
total daily is about 40 average population for the month.
do we normally keep it that, we got 60-something beds, is that correct?
65.
65?
Yes. But also understand we had 2 in post last month and we're getting ready to send 3 away again.
We don't have people to man anymore.
We're running at absolute minimum staffing right now between the front door
Yep.
and everything. So we're trying to keep a little bit of buffer for the employees' sake right
Okay,
now.
I'm following you.
Mike, Lieutenant LaCroix said that he's going to start bringing more and more in though. So with that being said, both Deputy Murphy and Sobrowski graduated post on 3/15, so they're back and ready to go.
That's
With that
awesome.
being said, Deputy Matermore and Ricky are getting ready to go to post. And that starts April 15th, goes through May 24th. So once we get through the end of May, we're gonna have a lot of our guys back and certified. So that's gonna be a big help to be able to start shifting the
awesome.
burden a little bit onto everybody instead
So
of,
once they get through post, they can work independently? Or do they still have to
They-
have some oversight for a while?
they're gonna have some oversight, and I'm not sure where they are on their FTO process, but once they get back, they're certified.
Nice.
Cool.
So that's gonna be end of
Huge-
May.
Huge bump, yeah.
Now, are these,
Before the craziness starts.
oh yeah, are all these young guys?
Most of them are young guys. Yeah. And I was really happy because Lieutenant LaCroix said that he's interviewed a couple of female deputies for the jail. So they're getting ready to go into background as well. So
That's awesome.
that is a really, really big help to us, is having female deputies.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
really love to get some more on the road too. I'd love to get some on the road. So that's kind of what we're looking at, is getting more diversified, because when you have searches and stuff, it's kind of a big deal.
Yep, yep.
So let's see. We did hire Eli Van Dyke, and that was on 3-4. So there's another one in there. And a big thing to keep in mind is April 12th is ISA jail inspection, Idaho Sheriff Association jail inspection. That's kind of a big deal. That keeps our,
That doesn't include us. That's just you
no,
guys.
that's the jail, but that's the big one that keeps you
Certified.
certified. Yes.
Ah,
That's what
Any concerns?
that's
anything
what
that
keeps
needs
our
to be done?
IDOC people coming in and everything as
Yeah.
well, as having that certification.
No, everything's up to
No, you don't have any concerns, do you? We're all good.
awesome.
So, patrol graduation, we have one, Deputy Lambert will be coming out on the 12th. So that'll be good. That'll be another deputy on the road, and getting him all trained up midsummer. I'd imagine he'll be on his own. He's a pretty smart kid. Marine interviews are underway. Vessels, I checked with Sergeant Turner. They are ready to go, so we don't have any major problems with any vessels. When they put them to bed last year, they made sure they were all upkept and ready to launch. So we're getting ready
Did
to
they buy
start
the new
standing that
one? Did they buy the new one last year, or is that this year?
this year.
This year. Okay.
And he does have 3 returning from last year, Marine deputies, and a 4th is on the fence. So we'll see how that one comes about. But he had 3 interviews so far, and he's got more applications. So
Okay, good.
by the time that rolls around, we should be in pretty good shape. Marine's one of those that it's nice to have the guys, because Sergeant Turner likes to send people down to the Cabarton boat launch as well for some river activity. So when you have enough for the lakes and the river, that's kind of a big deal for
that's
us.
a lot. That's a lot.
I'm glad
And
applications.
This year
are
with
coming in.
the, looking over watercraft as best we can. Obviously, you can't really do a full inspection, but watching out for invasive species, quagga mussels, stuff like that.
Have you guys got your van yet?
Or what?
A van you're purchasing to transport prisoners with? Is that,
It's in Salt Lake to be built. So our
Still-
vehicles are built in Salt Lake.
still
now.
be put together? But we do have it.
We have the vehicle and the parts. Now it's just a matter of getting those parts into the vehicle and get back to us, which the amount of vehicles that those people put together and how well they do it is absolutely amazing.
Cool.
It takes a while because they're backlogged. They're as far as Coeur d'Alene's going to them.
Awesome.
Okay, that's all I got. Any questions for me?
Oh,
We're good.
Okay.
we're gonna have a conversation on the waterways plan and implementation of some of that stuff. And then we'll bring it back to the commission, because we're starting to get a lot of people asking
Mhm.
what's happening there, so.
Yeah, I think that's a valid conversation to have.
Yeah.
We'll probably have, we'll speak about it and then maybe have Kevin Turner as well
Okay.
involved in that. Just,
Yeah, absolutely. He's there at every meeting with me, so.
yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Mr. Oki.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Not much new to report from the prosecutor's office. The property tax exempt applications keep coming in fairly steady. There's a April 15th deadline to have all those submitted to the assessor's office, so that'll, I'm sure, pick up. But we did get a head start this year, which is good. I think we've got 15 or 20 done at this point. We'll just keep putting a couple on the agenda each Monday until we get to the 15th deadline. Transactional work still remains pretty steady. I've had a number of different inspectors down at the Ameritidal building this last week. The boiler inspection is scheduled for Wednesday. Once we get that completed, it's probably time to kind of huddle back up again and review those reports and see where you guys want to be with that.
I still have to call AmeriGas on that.
Okay.
Has the appraisals process started yet at all?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
has
they did
started?
a walkthrough. They did a walkthrough on Wednesday. I've sent them a number of different documents for them to review, and so we're just waiting for them to complete their report and get back to us. So I don't know. When I initially talked to them, they thought that it was going to take them around 45 days to complete the appraisal. So we might still have a couple of weeks before we're there. One thing I do want to do, and I'll certainly send this out to the board, is get some timetables in place so you know when our due diligence period is coming to an end, and go from there. So
Awesome.
yeah, we remain pretty busy. I haven't seen Brian to give you any new reports on the criminal side, so I think the same report as before. There's no lack of work on the criminal side.
Yeah, he's buried.
Yeah, which is, I'm sure if he was standing here, he'd say that's a good news, bad news kind of a scenario. But certainly appreciates the work that the sheriff's office is doing, and they're trying to keep pace with all that work that's coming in. So
We did have a conversation last week on one of the murder trials, and we are paying for the defense attorneys right now, one of the indigent ones, and it's expensive and can't get reimbursed on it until a little further along. So we are going to be eating tons of.
we're in that weird transition period
Yeah.
where they're moving the public defense over to the state. And so that left us with this gap year where the county doesn't have any funding for those contracts. So
Question is, I know they're supposed to transition, July 1st? The state was going to take it over.
well,
September
the
30th.
Was it September 30th?
the statute that requires us to have these public defense contracts will expire on July 1st. The agreement that the state negotiated was that we would continue on through the end of our fiscal year with these contracts. So once the fiscal year ends for the county, the contracts that we currently have in place will then transition over to the county. So financially, the obligation of the county will shift to the state on October 1. In the meantime, we're still obligated contractually to have those defense contracts in place.
So, and that won't matter if we're still in the middle of say a murder trial that spans past October 1st. It's still going to transition over no matter what.
Yes, that's my understanding, is that I don't know what the state's going to do as far as agreements with the existing attorneys. I guess that's that's between the state and those attorneys to figure that out. Our obligation to have a contract is no longer there.
That's going to hit the budget hard when
It
that was
will.
not planned for.
Well,
And
the timing on that one was
I think it's $300 an hour per
Mhm.
attorney.
Yeah, they do
Two of
pretty well.
So, yeah.
That's-
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Brian.
Annette. Good morning.
Morning. We're pretty normal. We're 21 permits for this year. Last year at this time, we had 25, so we're pretty close.
Hmm.
We're
Ned, are those new builds that you're getting or just a little bit of everything?
a little bit of everything. There's quite a bit of new builds. There's some garages. There's not a lot of decks yet, but there will be. But it's mostly new builds right now.
Oh, I didn't think about that. You'd have a permit just to do a deck. Okay.
Mhm.
I keep thinking new builds, but it's everything.
It's everything. Yeah, there's
Okay.
sheds. There's some sheds in there,
Sure. Okay.
Starting to get a lot of phone calls. Snowbirds are coming back, so there's that. Gordon's studying code. Hopefully, come fall, he can transition more into an inspector.
Cool.
We'll see how that goes. Got to get you guys' permission and all that good stuff. So we're figuring out Tyler slowly. We're getting there. We were
Well,
having
you're-
issues with the turnover and some of the other stuff, but I think we got it all figured out. So
Okay, good.
It's
I think
not,
you'll be able to use it then.
parts of it.
Part of it.
We're
Okay.
doing our best. I'll just,
it's not a 4-letter word anymore.
yeah.
Maybe
Well, I'm
still,
not going to
but
comment on that. But we're getting there. We're doing,
one of the things we're gonna have to start thinking about is if this legislation goes through, that counties and cities can do their own inspections for electrical and plumbing.
I've been
Um,
looking into that a little bit.
Have you? I
And
think-
Mike's helping me.
I'm not certain that it's passed yet, but I know it's really close. So this week's, I think they'll probably adjourn the end of this week, so we're gonna know.
Mhm.
We should probably sit down and have a workshop on that and, yeah,
Yeah,
what it would
we've-
cost us, what kind of income we could see from that and whether it's beneficial.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on now.
Okay, perfect.
It's a little bit different than,
Yeah.
you know, what I'm doing. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Mike's helping me, so we'll go from there.
Yep.
That's about all I got.
Right,
Cool.
thank you.
Thanks a minute.
Edie. Are you gonna be here this afternoon for Alicia's? Okay.
Right, so things seem to be going pretty good, moving, I think the whole department and all the to-dos are now all in my bucket. I think I'm doing all right, did my first claims, get my first budget meeting already set up. I've already got a list of needs. No
She's on it.
detention,
A
kids.
Keurig.
Huh?
A Keurig. He says you're on it.
Yep, I got it, yeah, the Keurig, we're good, we're good.
Okay.
No detention kids this week at all. It's been a little while. I'm going to keep it that way, knock on wood. Something that's been, after I've met with a bunch of the directors of other departments, other stakeholders so far, still have 2 left. One's dispatch. I'm going to meet with them, see what they're needing, connect any of those dots. And then McCall City Prosecuting Attorney, I still have to meet with him. Other than that, I've met with everyone and already met with my staff and already moved forward with some of the things that we're needing to do. Most important is just communication and partnership. That seems just to be what was needed the most. As I'm sure you hear from the commissioners' meetings on these mornings, is how prosecution, law enforcement, our office, as well as the commissioners, we're all linked together in what we do and how we do it. And so to have a good, strong connection and communication and partnership through that only makes our community safer. So we're all on board for that. So in doing that, the misdemeanor probation is looking to do, they're going to work together to do a standardized sanctions, just so everyone's on the same page, as if something goes wrong, or if they need to hold someone accountable, that it's a standardized way of doing things. It's easy in the juvenile probation department because I'm still the only one, so I'm quite standard in what I do. And so we want to get them, and then of course let law enforcement know what that looks like. So again, everyone knows along the whole board, as if someone gets in trouble, what that might look like.
So would that just be for the Valley County standard? Is there an Idaho standard?
For the most part, all departments have a standardization, but all of them look a little different because each department, each jurisdiction have different resources available. We rely heavily on a SCRAM, breathalyzers, which I'm hoping to get more money to be able to fund. The SCRAM and breathalyzers cost money. And so if we're wanting clients to be using those, because UAs aren't effective, if they're just coming in randomly for drug testing 2 or 3 times a month, when it comes to alcohol, methamphetamine, some of the controlled substances, those are out of your system a lot faster. And so we need more supports from our own department to assist in that, and it's paying for it. Because we have folks who are struggling that are on most of them are on our caseload that are working class. And so if we're having them come in, pay $5 a day for SCRAM, $7 a day for a personal breathalyzer, or $15 per drug test, a couple of times a week, that's we're essentially taking from them their possibility, and financial situations increase people's possibilities, gives them hope, give them confidence, and they don't necessarily fall into that drug abuse and addiction. So there's got to be an understanding how to fix all that. So we want to standardize kind of what we do when we're offering, and then be able to support it financially for those families or those clients that can't afford it, but that will hold them to a higher standard of expectation. So if they are drinking, we can give them a breathalyzer that they have to blow into 4 times a day, and we're able to support some of that cost. It'll keep the community safer. It'll also keep them perhaps on the road to sobriety and recovery. So kind of wanting to look at that bigger picture and what we can do to help support that.
Didn't we talk about last meeting, you were possibly going to get somebody to help in the juvenile part?
Yes, that's still in the making, because I wanted to get through this first month of what was needed out there. There's actually going to be some things I'm going to ask from our budget meeting I'm going to have here in a couple of weeks. If I hire a brand new juvenile probation officer who has not been post-certified that's already around the state, we're very limited in that training. And so I want to be able to support the best training for that juvenile probation officer, which would mean having them maybe go to Elmore County for a night and see what they're doing. And so I want to be able to pay for that. Or go to Ada County and be able to spend a couple of days in their courtrooms watching. I want to be able to financially be able to pay them to be able to, or stay a night down there.
Sure.
So I need to kind of figure all that out, as well as one of my asks is permission from you folks. I'm the chair of the advisory committee for Anchor that just started. The assessment center, it's the juvenile as well as family assessment center here in Valley County. I'd like to be able, within partnership, offer just the maximum of up to 5 hours of a juvenile probation officer, or really maybe someone in our department. So it might just be 5 hours from our department that the county is willing to offer in kind to them to either help facilitate groups or co-facilitate groups. It's people that we need for sustainability. They have the counselors, and they're getting funding to be able to pay for them. But sometimes you just need that extra person to be able to be within best practice of holding groups or classes and that kind of stuff. And I would like our department to be able to offer that. And so if that's approved from you guys, just to even start that conversation, I would like that to be part of who I hire for a juvenile probation officer, is to let them know that that's going to be an expectation. And again, then we would send them to a training for how to run groups, how to facilitate and be a co-facilitator, again, doing it to the best practice and the best of our ability. So these are the little things I'm going to put together before I have that job description ready to go. I would expect, in my mind, I'd like to have that out and ready by the end of April, already putting that out there. I've already had several folks kind of check in to see, hey, when you're going to open that up, because they're interested. And then perhaps have someone here and ready to go before summertime. By then, again, hopefully by then I have all of my ducks in a balance, because I know I'm going to have to spend a lot of time training that person. So that's going to be probably half my job for a while. And it brings us into summertime to have that extra body in our office.
When you're talking groups, you're talking like AA, a group like that?
No, sir. Groups like
Not that, but something similar? Or
well, AA is different.
Sure.
It's a whole different. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's groups like independent living or healthy boundaries, or maybe a substance abuse support group or nicotine support group,
Mhm.
all stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah, healthy boundaries is a nice way of saying how to protect your space, but also that if you want to date, what does dating look like? Because I think that's lost somewhere along the way, is how to date, how to connect, how to do that kind of stuff, how to build a relationship appropriately. So seems to be coming up a lot lately. So like, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You may have adults wanting to take that one.
Absolutely.
That could be a large fundraiser for your
Yes.
office.
Yes. My officers are wanting some additional trainings they brought to me, because I meet with them all kind of individually as well. And so we're going to be getting a suicide prevention training up here, even though we have quite a bit of them. We're going to try to have one that's specific just to our department, perhaps, as well as maybe reach out to law enforcement. So it can be, a partnership if one of our clients are in crisis, just what kind of partnership we have. Interstate Compact. Interstate Compact is when we want to send, whether it be a juvenile or an adult, to another state. there's a huge process in that. Juveniles, it's much easier. Adults, it's a little more complex. So my officers have asked for a training about that just to make sure they're staying up to date. So we're going to get some folks up here to do that. Otherwise, then just our cases are looking like Jacques has 57, Molly has 51, Steve has 169. I think he got 2 more after I wrote the numbers down. And for what that works for Steve, for those who don't know what unsupervised probation is, I think we did let you guys kind of know what that looks like. But for those that are listening, the judge may order someone to not have supervised probation, which means they don't have to come in and check in with the body, once, twice a month, but they do have terms that need to be completed. And someone has to make sure those terms are completed. And so that's why Steve has such a huge amount. And he has probably anywhere from 15 to 20 cases a week that he has to check up on to make sure they're within compliance. If not, then he's the one that routes the information to the prosecuting attorney to let them know if they're in compliance or not. Pretrial cases, we're at 18. I just have 1 at the moment, and it's a juvenile. And then I have 17 juvenile cases currently. That's up to date for today.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Gotcha.
You guys are busy, unfortunately.
Thanks.
the training is awesome.
Yeah.
Any training those guys can get, you bet.
Melissa?
You pushed me out in front.
She's right behind you.
Good, good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Just a 4-H update for you, some professional updates as well. Let's see, let's start. There's 3 of us. Leah as being the 4-H assistant, and then our AmeriCorps. So all this work is not just done by me. This is a lot. So we just held our beef weigh-in. We weighed in 16 steers. We'll have 6 goat youth, 24 lamb youth, and 26 swine youth. Often these come with companion animals, so we are full house this year. We'll have anywhere from 50 swine, 30-something lambs. Anyway, and so we're making room and we're going down early to make sure we can accommodate everything. We're gonna have to make some adjustments. I don't think we need to build anything differently. We might pour some more concrete, do some different adjustments to making sure we can get them all clean and ready. So let's see, and we have 25 clover buds this year. That's a huge increase for us. We have-
25 what?
They're kids ages 5 to 7. I apologize. Yeah. So they kind of gear up and see what 4-H is all about. It's a time to just explore and see what the parents and the families are going to get themselves into. No, it's a very big commitment. So it's a fun way for them to be involved. And we'll do little shows with them. They'll primarily be raising some chickens and some rabbits and kittens, some cats. We just completed a communication rodeo where we worked with youth on demonstrating and speaking and illustrated talks, how to professionally set one up. We made it fun for them. We even did like a Jeopardy type of game. So there's
What
probably about-
age group?
That's
high
7
school.
through 18. So yeah, we had a really good turnout. We had about 38 people show up.
Oh,
I'm always impressed when this is outside of school. This is you don't have to do these things, and that turnout for it is pretty amazing. And we just recently, this last Friday, did a livestock skill-a-thon where they had an opportunity to learn more about the different species of animals. And we did that with the younger youth, and then the teens went and did an escape room type of scenario where they learned more about ag and drones and ag. So that was a very successful event as well, and I'd say about 40 some attended that with parents and families. So that's great too, that it's not just a drop off, it's everybody's in. We're working on our Facebook and website pages, some Instagram work now that I have help or 20-year-olds to help me get onto some of the social media a little bit more.
I understand that one.
Yeah. And let's see, we had a great Cascade after school advisory meeting recently, helped with that STEM night. That was a good success. The AmeriCorps up in McCall is on the Community Youth Advisory Board and attends the high school almost once a week, I think currently, and they're working on some projects for mental health and wellness. And she's doing some programs out of Barbara Morgan Elementary, planning and executing some after-school programs and STEM programs. She and Aaliyah meet to work with the Donnelly Elementary youth after school twice a month. Let's see, she's on a McCall Public Art Committee and also providing and executing youth programs for the McCall Public Library and painting a 3x4 canvas for the Valley County watershed. So lots of projects going on. I'm currently working on the Fair Book, meeting with Fair Board this week, and we have a swine weigh-in here in April. So off we go. There's our update.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And
So I have the opportunity to have an additional or an extension, either for the Digital Economy AmeriCorps position. And so the organizers of that program asked me, would you like to have another position in the fall? And so I think the obvious answer is yes. There's a lot of different moving parts right now as far as that broadband
Is
opportunity.
that James?
Yeah, in
position then?
James's position. So I don't know if James would renew or if we would get a new person in, but there is an opportunity to have that position again.
Nice.
And so I think, the obvious
Awesome.
answer is yes. Then the other exciting opportunity is that I'm going to be investigating, and this is just a conversation right now, but it might even be premature, but I'm excited about it, and I want to investigate the opportunity to have like an additional office space if this position was to come into play. And so Sunny, she was part of the Rural Summit that happened at the McCall Outdoor Science School campus in the fall. And there's still some things that are moving along from that synergy of having that event. Just to remind everybody, that was an opportunity where representatives from campus came into Valley County. President Green zoomed in, and we talked about how can University of Idaho help support communities and businesses on the ground. And so people talked about, how do I get an intern? What kind of dual credit enrollment possibilities are there? And we just kind of talked about community education and the role of extension and what we do, and then this opportunity of having remote learners connect to campus resources and learning. So the position specifically would be a part-time position for university recruitment, and it would be, getting people connected to how do I become either a part-time or full-time remote student, and just orientating people to the opportunity to either go on to get their advanced degree, whether that be they do it locally or they go up to campus. So kind of a local part-time recruitment officer. And so I guess I think that would be great. Is that something that the commissioners would support as well?
Absolutely.
I think so.
And so kind of putting lots of different puzzle pieces together, Dee Dee had said something about potentially having an office out of the annex, or like a working space. And so that's on my radar, because thinking about the AmeriCorps position, the 4-H coordinator, and then all the staff that we have in our office, I feel like we couldn't, squeeze another person in there. But when this new position came about, I was like, well, maybe there would be an opportunity to have an office out of that. So I'll talk to you.
be temporary,
Yeah.
a temporary space, but not
Okay.
a full space.
So trying to put all the pieces together of opportunities and potential
We have
offices.
a ton of office space in here.
Okay,
So
Especially if we get the Maritidal building,
okay,
we'll have lots of space.
good to know.
Well, we have, I
Yeah,
guess there's only
that's-
one,
yeah.
but yeah, I guess there's only one right now that I'm saying that, but still.
Okay. So I'll follow up with Sunny to investigate that opportunity further and let her know that we are welcoming that opportunity, and we'll figure out where to put that position if all of that goes forward. And so another outcome that's kind of continuing to happen is that we have the dual learning credit professional from campus coming down and they're meeting with superintendents of Cascade, New Meadows, and McCall School District to just talk about dual learning opportunities, specifically about early childhood education. And I'm also connecting that person with the ELAC committee. There's a Farm Coalition Farmers Panel coming up at April 1st, and I've partnered with the McCall Arts and Humanities Council to be able to host that. Shauna Arnold will be facilitating the Farmers Panel, and then I have a master gardener that I'm recording to do a Sprouts demo for the second half of the hands-on part of that program, and then one of the farmers is going to stay to help people do that activity. And so I won't be present for that, but I have all the pieces and helped coordinate it. And so that program will be happening April 1st. So if you haven't signed up, go ahead and sign up. It'll be at the McCall High School cafeteria. And I am going to be attending facilitator between now and June, facilitator and strategic planning professional development opportunities and training. And so exploring new professional associations and staying on my learning curve. And so next week I'll be doing the facilitators conference and then learning more about what would it look like to become an endorsed facilitator with the association. And there's lots of studying and exam to take, and then there's a year of mentorship. So
Are those online, or do you have to travel, or?
I will be traveling to that conference. Yeah, so I have additional professional development funds that are coming from the university because they had a scholarship you could apply for. And so it made me think a little bit outside of the box of like if I could do something a little different and I had an opportunity to explore some different associations, what would that look like, and some additional funding to do it. And so I'll be doing that between now and June. And I will not be going to the NACDEP, the National Association of Community Development Extension Professionals, and so kind of changing it up for my norm.
Thanks.
Yep.
Makes my head explode.
Yeah.
That's a lot of knowledge you're going.
Yeah. No, I feel like when my head starts to spin, I have to like take a step back and ground myself because I can totally say yes to too many projects.
Yep.
Um,
Gotta be
I
careful.
understand that. Don't worry.
Yeah, Pride of the Pantry Plots and the Bienvenidos Community Garden efforts will be launching at the end of the month, and I'm either supporting or leading those, and then I have my budget meeting coming up.
Cool. Pretty awesome, girl.
Thank you. Any
Awesome.
questions?
I would love to get together with you and talk about the university's involvement in a couple of projects I have going on.
Sure.
So,
And then I do have questions for you too, because I would love to gain some clarity about kind of reportable outcomes for that AmeriCorps digital economy position.
okay.
And I would like to ask you as well as Lindsay, because you guys are part of that. It's not a BAT, you call yourself something different. It's the digital, what is the committee
It
called?
was the broadband, I mean, it
Broadband
was,
committee?
it was the
Yeah.
broadband committee to start with, so.
Yeah, so I feel like now that we know what that position looks like, I'd like to do some proactive reflection to make sure when we get that second person in there, we can have some really like reportable outcomes that align with what we're trying to do.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so I'll reach out to you.
Okay. Now, if it can be on a Wednesday, maybe upcoming Wednesday.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I know I have lots of meetings stacked, but I think you can
I
fit.
do
You can always
too, so
fit in another Zoom.
we'll figure out.
Right here's a window. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mike. Is Mike in here? Not in here. Let's go on to Jeremy.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning, but
He may have something going on.
Good morning,
Morning.
Commissioners. How are you?
Good.
We got the better Wi-Fi going at Lake Fork
Nice, thank you.
last week.
yeah, we were in the recreation committee meeting down there and having a hard time getting on Wi-Fi. That's Thursday, Wednesday, something like that.
I think it was Thursday that I got it up and running.
So we may have just been right before that.
Yeah,
They were struggling with anything. Cool. That's awesome.
yep, should be good now. Other things that are still kind of ongoing and in process, the 911 upgrade, all the equipment is here. Farmers, who's the new phone company, out of Payette that we're kind of hooking on to. Then in Trotto, they're the 911 vendor. They came up last week and looked at all the new equipment to make sure it was all ready to go and good and all that. The plan is to June 7th through the 12th is when they plan to come in and install it all and do the cutover.
We're hooking on to farmers out of Payette so that we can piggyback off Fruitland and Payette's 911. Is that the whole point?
Yeah, so the drive for Idaho is to kind of, instead of having every PSAP be its own individual 911 standalone center like it's been forever, they're kind of trying to regionalize them and group some together to save some costs. So yeah, we're grouped in with, I don't remember, there's 4. It's us, Payette, Adams. I think
Like
there's one
Washington,
other.
if there's.
Washington, maybe, I think. There's one other in there, but anyways.
So anybody in any of those counties will call and it goes to a regional center.
Yeah, so we're the backup, but as long as the primary is up, from what I understand, the phone call it'll ping the Payette Center, which is the main, and then route it to the proper county where the phone.
Proper location. Okay, I follow you. Yeah.
I don't know how the magic works on the back end, but it does something like that.
That's something we probably should find out. That will that impact our employees as far as the number of people needed and all that kind of stuff? That's a question
shouldn't.
probably.
That'd be a
That
question for
shouldn't make a
maybe
difference
Sheriff
there.
Perry or Kelly, but I don't think it should.
They're just, wherever it hits, it just comes straight back to this location. Yeah, can't imagine.
As
that
far as
changing.
the community and the public is concerned, they won't notice any difference. They'll call and it'll get to our PSAP. And
Yep. Okay, cool.
the cards for the doors in the annex, they're the company that's doing M2. They're on their way up back right now. They're doing that install today.
Nice.
So I'll be running out there this afternoon to hang out with them. I did get a hold of the company that did the audio upgrades, and they're working on some quotes and some solutions for fixing some of the audio issues in here and to improve the speaker in the ceiling and looking at some other things.
Thank you.
That'd be good.
So yeah, that's it. Everything that's active, other than the other stuff I'm working on, like the network upgrade and the radio stuff, is still kind of floating in the background and all that kind of stuff. So
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
welcome.
So we've got Tyler coming in on the
Okay.
desk this afternoon.
Okay. Perfect.
See,
All right, have any questions
Thank
for me?
you. Nope.
All right, thanks.
thanks.
Didn't
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're busy. April 25th is the Watershed Coalition at the Donnelly Church. I believe that's from 4 to 6. You should have received an email and an invitation.
And what is that for the,
That's the BOR grant to the Valley Soil Water Conservation District to create the Watershed Coalition.
yeah.
It was previously scheduled and then canceled because of a snowstorm.
Mhm.
And now it's been scheduled for April 25th. Mark your calendars.
already on it.
I think I'm on it.
P&Z meetings are April 3rd. We're going to be reviewing a PUD and giving it our special attention.
And
April-
that's in this room, correct?
Yes.
I need to make sure I don't have anything. Is that a Wednesday?
I don't know, Tuesday, I think. I believe it's a Tuesday,
Nope, it's a Wednesday,
Is it?
April 3rd, right?
April 3rd.
April 3rd is Wednesday.
I will move out of the room.
That's a regular P and Z
Actually-
meeting, isn't it?
No,
Oh,
that's
your-
April 11th.
That's right. The other one's training.
And then April 16th is a work session.
So are we still on for the gold dust deal on the 11th?
The 11th, yes. Yes, you should be high enough up that you actually get to be heard this time.
Hopefully.
You'd think we have a little pull on that.
No, everybody gets treated the
Everybody
same.
is, yep.
Everybody's the same. April 2nd is that BOR meeting about Poison Creek at the Legion Hall in Cascade.
Mhm.
That'd be an interesting one to attend.
Yep, I got that one.
I did attend the Lake Irrigation meeting. They were letting their shareholders know that they're going to be repiping one of their laterals. And it was very interesting. I learned the difference between some things. It was an education. They just have water rights. The irrigation company has the water rights. And then each property owner is a shareholder, not a water right holder. It was interesting. I picked up some things. And then I'm pretty sure I've told you, Lee resigned. I do have 9 applications.
You are kidding
Nope,
me.
We will be doing some
It's
interviews.
awesome news.
Not that Lee
Lee.
resigned, but that we have applications.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. in
Thank you
case
for the
she's
clarity,
watching,
but
yeah.
9 applications, man, I'm impressed.
Everybody has heard how much fun we have.
As a county, right? Not just planning and
no.
zoning.
I get to work for Cinda, yay.
And that's it. That's it. You got it.
We're
You got
paying
it
people
covered.
to apply, so.
I forgot to bring it in here. Anyway, received a letter from the city of Donley.
We did too.
Mhm.
Right. And so are you do you want to schedule a meeting?
We do.
Okay.
And I don't know, we probably should just do a work session to start with.
Well,
I haven't even
what
had a
they're
chance to
asking
look
for
at it.
is
so.
that we adopt their comprehensive plan, which starts with the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Right.
That would be a recommendation.
It's gonna go through you first and then,
Well, no, I think you should have a meeting to kick it to Planning and Zoning to do the comprehensive plan review. Because they also want some ordinance changes. Well, that goes in front of the P and Z first too. Last time we did impact area agreements, it went to the Planning and Zoning first.
I think that's the process that we do anyhow. Yeah. Go
I
through
can't
you
remember
guys.
what it was at the very end that they wanted changed.
Yeah, it was,
And there's a lot of change here.
there's a lot
so.
of change. Yeah, all that underlined. Yeah, I read all that.
Well, they're keeping the same
So if it
impact
goes-
area.
Mhm.
Which I don't necessarily agree with, but
So the area is not, geographically, is not changing.
some of the applicable codes that they're asking to change speaks to architectural control.
Architectural control, and then if somebody's adjacent to the city, they need to apply for annexation
Yeah.
before we can hear it. And then they have to deny them before we hear it, which that's going to be up to the board whether or not they want landowners to have to go through that lengthy process first.
So if we put this through planning and zoning first, what would be the basis of the recommendation coming out? Either accepting what they're proposing, or you would also put changes into this before it comes to us for approval?
The decision would be a recommendation to approve, deny, amend the comprehensive plan as they've adopted it,
Mhm.
and then ordinance changes based upon that comprehensive plan being adopted in the impact area, which could include design reviews, requirements for annexation, that type of thing. That,
It's still
So is-
annexation. I mean, they still have to come to them and ask to be annexed.
right, so the process for those people adjacent to the city would be apply for annexation, and then if you get denied, then you can go through the Valley County Planning Department.
I guess what I'm questioning in my mind, and I don't know the legalities behind it, so I'd want Oki's, input, but I understand the recommendation, looking at it, but technically what we're doing is we're having our planning and zoning commission look at a city's comp plan.
Mhm.
And that's,
Absolutely, to adopt in the unincorporated areas.
to
It
adopt in the
previously-
unincorporated areas. They're,
Is that our business though?
that's not our business, no. I mean,
Well,
we're
it
not doing
is.
anything in the unincorporated areas. The city of Donley's footprint, they don't, in the impact areas,
In the impact area, it's in the
It's-
unincorporated part of Valley County.
but it's still our code.
It's
Governed by-
currently, it's our
Governed
code.
by our code.
In that impact area, you can adopt their plan and their ordinances. You can adopt their plan and our ordinances. You can adopt our plan and our ordinances. That's what the impact area is about. Idaho state statute says you can do a variety of different things in that impact area. Any comprehensive plan adopted in that impact area has to go through the Valley County Planning and Zoning Commission. Any ordinance change in that impact area should go through the Valley County Planning and Zoning Commission.
I agree with you on the ordinances, but why wouldn't, I guess that I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of overreach on our part.
To do
to-
what?
to look at, so right now, I don't think we have any feeling of taking another city and allowing any of their codes to impact our impact area. So I guess, and so I guess what I'm feeling is the county's planning and zoning commission is offering input on a city's comprehensive plan. And it
Well,
just
no,
feels
they've
weird
already
to me, but
adopted their plan. They adopted their plan in November.
Agreed.
What they want us to do is adopt the plan that they adopted to apply in the impact area. We're not overreaching into them. They want to expand their boundaries out. with
And
their
I,
comp
and
plan.
I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think that this commission has any interest in adopting their code in
Okay.
our impact area. So why are we gonna put it through the planning and zoning commission?
And that's why
for
you
that
would have the meeting
recommendation.
first. If you read through that letter, I asked Mark to put in there that the board should decide whether or not they're going to direct the Planning and Zoning Commission to do that.
I'm following you.
Okay, so the board would have a meeting to decide whether or not they want to adopt the Donnelly Comprehensive Plan and ordinances in the impact area. If not,
So are they,
then you don't send it to the Valley County Planning and Zoning Commission for review. But if you're interested in that, then you send it to the Valley County Planning and Zoning Commission.
Got it.
so are there, let me get this straight in my head. So they're wanting to change their ordinances in there. And those are theirs, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so they want to change their ordinances within their city limits.
yes.
But we already have our ordinances that are governing the impact area.
Yes.
Are they wanting us to add theirs into ours?
Yes.
That's
They
what
want-
they're,
Take it like McCall.
They want us to adopt their comprehensive plan and then amend our ordinance to include design review and an annexation application requirement.
I see what you're
I
saying.
think we put it on an agenda and discuss it, and then
I
we'll
think
make a
that's-
decision on how to move forward.
I think that's a good
So if you
idea.
will take that and put it on an agenda for discussion and action.
Yep, thank you.
I will do that. We're just really busy. I'll just conclude my presentation with that.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer you have staff turnover again right before, summer, but hopefully we can get somebody onboarded and,
Yep, the thing with P
It's-
and Z, we're busy all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, because in the winter, people are planning for the summer, so the season isn't that big of a deal to us.
just Lori's gonna be gone a lot this summer, so.
Yes, she is.
Are you looking at putting on another individual anyhow?
In addition to the three of us, no.
Okay.
Might consider somebody to just do some scanning if we figure out the format, but otherwise, no. Not at this time.
Okay. All right.
At all?
Like you said,
And Lee's sorry that she has to leave us, but she just doesn't make
Fully
enough.
understand. Fully understand.
it's unfortunate, but
Mr. Larry,
Good morning.
morning.
You have a great weekend?
Absolutely.
we did. Got your notice here and it's like, I gotta sit down and talk with you. It was so disheartening to read all that.
Footnote.
Yeah. So, I worked with the advisory board this last couple of weeks, and there's a chance we're gonna get offered another groomer, add to our fleet. It's a chance, because another area is thinking about giving it up. And we feel pretty confident that we've got it dialed in, our finances dialed in to where we could do that. Because remember, this would go to Warm Lake, and the cost of transporting is so huge over there that it kind of offsets. If they pull the trigger, I'm gonna grab a couple of the guys and run to this county and look at this piece of equipment real carefully before we take it. We're gonna try to groom as long as we can because we took such a big hit early in the year. You know, we really didn't start grooming until the second weekend of January. And our businesses have taken such a big hit. And I've let the businesses, the rental out guys know we will run as long as possible so that they can keep going. Speaking of that, just got some numbers to share with you. I'm just going to share our total numbers so far in 21-22. Our total number was 6,754 registrations. That was our big COVID year when they closed Canada and everybody from Washington came. So last year, 22 to 23, we had 6,248. This year, we're down to 5,209, which is a decrease of about 17%. The state as a whole is down almost 30%. So I can pout and moan and groan, but not as much as a lot of other people are doing right now.
Just
It's
what
just-
it is.
Well, yeah, and I'm just so thankful that we got our increase through legislation a couple years back because it's really it offsets that type of thing. We are gonna, unfortunately, they made a decision to pull back the OHV increase legislation till next year. I was really hoping they'd try to run that through because we need all the help we can on summer trails.
An election year. Next year's an off.
I
election
wasn't
year.
gonna say that.
I will.
Thank you very much, but yeah, I agree 100%.
It's
with that.
impacting everything.
Yeah. So, BFC, we were talking about making a comment on Sagehand. Just a reminder, the one that just came out, that was the objection period. So you had to have made a comment earlier, but it was all on veggie. There wasn't any roads or recreation or anything to make comments on, so we didn't. Now the new one is going to be the road and recreation, and that comment period will come out, and that's when we will have be able to do comments on it.
So if you didn't comment in the first round, though, can you comment this round?
No.
I was concerned because I think the Grizzly Bear just closed last week. And I
Yes.
didn't realize that the Grizzly Bear had closed. And did we,
So the
I
grizzly,
actually did personally put in a comment.
yeah, and the grizzly
but I don't
bear
think the
thing is
county
a
did.
fish and wildlife thing. It hasn't made it to the Forest Service planning stage yet. So it's going to go through 3 or 4 different stages. And the lawsuits are just beginning on that. I'm kind of backed away from that just because I know what's coming up. It's going to be lawsuits forever.
Is that the same thing kind of with the Wolverine, same deal?
Wolverine's a little different because the Wolverine, the grizzly bear's through Fish and Wildlife. The Wolverine got listed by the Secretary of Agriculture because she felt like too much global warming without NEPA. So Fish and Wildlife is just starting. Well, they say they're starting the wildlife on NEPA for Wolverine, but we have seen nothing on it yet. Yeah, if they try to use it as a tool, it'll get sued because there isn't any NEPA. But, you know, the truth of it is, if they want to come up with a plan for education and stuff like that, my gosh, of course, we all want to support them. We want to protect those critters and do the best we can. We want to do it the right way.
Yep.
So that's where we are in the Wolverine. So I went over the registrations number. I also talked to Troy Elmore about ORFAC. IDPR is just as confused as we are right now on what the decision from the state is. So they're trying to get clarification out of the governor's office. So it isn't like we've lost the Boulder grant yet. It's just that nobody's quite sure where it's at.
Hmm.
Anyway, any other questions?
Old growth forest, when is
Mog?
that comment period is, I think it's due in April. It's a very shortened window for comment on that.
So MOG is a strange thing. Nobody really really understands. They understand old growth, but they don't understand what the mature part of it is. I can tell you that there's one forest that has just put off forest planning for 3 years. I think I mentioned that last time, because they're going to start trying to inventory the old growth. My biggest concern is how it's going to affect SIL, the Southern Idaho Landscape Project. Is it going to slow them down? I was told by the Boise, no, it's not going to slow them down. So
Chris is going to be in here today
yes,
with an update, so hopefully that'll update. But I guess what I'm concerned with is I think we should put in some kind of a comment. We did not, we're not going to have the conversation on hiring the lady out of Custer County until April 1st.
Mhm.
I don't know why we're not doing this in-house instead of,
I
doing
agree
it.
100%.
okay.
I
So,
think I mentioned that when we had that. We actually have the tools and the expertise in-house or that we can reach out to easily.
well, that'll be part of the conversation on the first then. So
Sounds great.
please come to that, because I'm in agreement that I think we need to keep it local if we can. But will you make sure that MOG comment period, we don't lose that opportunity for comment?
Yeah, I don't think at this point there is a comment period.
And I
for
can
it.
ask Chris that the same.
It was kind of an order.
Yeah, they're trying to do it through rules, but I
Yes.
think,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, I think there's a comment period.
I'll ask, well.
We can ask Chris this
today.
afternoon
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah, we'll ask and find out.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, great.
Old growth?
Old growth and
Log
mature.
it.
The old growth is simple. The mature, that could be a tree in your backyard.
Yeah.
That's-
Mature,
There isn't good clarity on that yet.
mature is 50 years old, okay. 70, you're old growth.
It depends on.
Wow.
Speak for yourself. It depends on the species too, because a pine tree is different than an aspen tree
Mhm.
as far as old growth.
It depends
So,
if it's growing in the swamps down south or if it's
Yeah.
growing up northern Idaho grows faster and produces more than Idaho down here.
Yeah, we're high desert. We
Sure.
just don't get the moisture.
All right,
all
thank
right,
you
thanks,
guys.
Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Oh, there's Mike. Who said he wasn't coming?
You're up, Mike. Then we'll go on tomorrow.
I'll teach you for not showing up.
Good morning. I have no idea what I'm here to talk about. I've been busy with something else unexpected this morning. So
Okay.
anyway, real quick update. I'm just doing a lot of recruiting right now. We've had a number of positions that we've had to open up. We've had a couple resignation notices recently. Unfortunate, but in that regard, we've had a number of people applying for the open positions that we have.
That's awesome.
And we have some good people on the way in, as we know, and very much looking forward to those people getting here. But other than that, just working on a few other little training projects that we have coming up. I'm going to be announcing here today, hopefully, that we have some Percy workshops that are scheduled to come here in the next couple of weeks. Somebody from Percy is going to come. Gabby, thank you very much for forwarding that information on to me. I was able to get somebody from Percy to come up, and they've got 3 different workshops that they offer. We'll be having all 3 of them here, just back to back to back, in the next couple of weeks. So other than that, that's what I got.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Mara,
Good morning.
good morning.
So just a quick update as well. We're still working on the MOUs for East McCall. That should be going through Mackenzie today. So we can get that process going through Oki. We do have the agreement in the final stage 2 for the Forest Service for the GNA one. But that is still going through their grant department there. So it's kind of held up right there. So I'm not sure how long it'll take to get back to us to finalize that. And then Stephanie and John have been working on the CWPP subdivisions plan and then the updating those this year.
And we are getting a lot of applications for Firewise grants, which is really
Nice.
cool. So those are still open for another 2 more weeks. They close on the 15th. One thing that's really cool that we're seeing this year is we're getting a lot more HOAs applying,
Oh, awesome.
which is nice. So it's not just these small landowners. We're getting more of a community spread, right? And that's the whole goal of Firewising. Instead of just doing one little area, we're getting a bigger area, which is really good. So we're seeing less applicants, but more ground that is potentially going to be
Nice.
covered, which is super awesome.
Will you keep track of the amount on that for us so we know if we have to set aside some further funding on that?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And then Stephanie should be here in the next couple weeks, and she'll be here from basically mid-April until the end of summer.
Nice.
So she'll be
Cool.
back soon.
Or is the Forest Service do any, I mean, say you have a landowner that's wanting to do his Firewise and it goes right up against the forest. Does Forest Service have any plan on their end outside of his property to work on their end for good neighbor?
And they do have a
Stuff.
lot of project areas that are super close to private landowners, specifically Bear Basin. You see that they manage that basically every year. They're out there burning it, keeping everything at bay. So there's certain target areas that you see that they're focusing on. And you're starting to see it more with the state as well. Like over on East Side Drive, they did that whole project, that thinning project out there. So we're starting to see a lot more things coming closer to the county, which is awesome.
And I'd like to see that more just because of, I mean, where people live, you know, like over that big fire a couple years ago
Yeah.
out there. It's like, if they're doing outside of the people's homes into their,
Adjacent
forest,
to private land,
yeah,
yes.
it'd make it safe for all these people to have homes out in there. And yeah, they're just targets for fire, but unfortunate. But
And that's our GNA program that we just started. I mean, we can actually work in the forest
We
now.
can, yep. And so
We
that's
have to find some additional funding sources to go do
Correct.
that, but that will be our job, really. I mean, as Mara's looking at it and doing projects that are beside the forest, we can step into their footprint and do some of theirs too.
they allow us to do that.
Yes, so
Really?
working closely with the Forest Service, with Patrick Shawn, Brian Davis, and then the people with Boise, I can start facilitating some of those projects because they will still have to go through like the NEPA prospect and all that kind of stuff. So there's still hoops that they'll have to jump through, but it is more likely for me to be able to get work done on those areas just because they're also managing land. Right? So they don't want to just do like a 5-acre parcel. They want to do a couple 100-acre. So that's kind of the difference of being able to have me go out there, the county, and work on Forest Service land compared to what they can accomplish.
It would be interesting to see what NEPA has already been done in the county, which little projects, because Four Corners had been done 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is actually one of my goals to work with Kara is to potentially get a map in the future, like an interactive map of where projects that Forest Service has done and projects that the county has done and see
nice.
kind of how fire has manipulated that and kind of, I don't know if you've ever been on ADA Adapt. It's the Boise wildfire mitigation. It's actually a pretty cool interactive map where it shows where they did fuel mitigation and how they've had fire starts. And it basically stops right at where their fuel mitigation started. And down there, obviously, they have a lot more grass and sagebrush, so they're able to mow and do that kind of stuff every year, where up here we have more timber. So it's harder to do the same area every couple years, right? So that's the difference.
interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then one thing that I've kind of doing on my side is I've been reaching out to the local firewood bank. There's a couple of grants that are opening here in May, and I know Woodstock has happened for 12 years here, super long time. And I don't think that they've ever gotten outside funding. They've just always been volunteer based, and which is super awesome that they have that many people that want to show up and help with that. But there is grants that can help fund some of that stuff, like wood splitters, chainsaws, even a little shed to store some of this wood. And so that's one thing that I'm going to be meeting with Mountain Life and then Heartland Health or Heartland Resources.
Hunger.
Yeah, Hunger Resources. in the next couple of weeks to see how Valley County can help facilitate or help them with anything, really. Maybe it's just the day of facilitating, or if they do need some land to help put more wood on. Because I've been starting to reach out to some other larger landowners that do logging, that have timber out on their property that might just be laying there, that they might want to donate. And so that's one thing that's cool about these grants too, is those people that donate, that grant can also cover some of their fuel and stuff like that. So it's incentives to help get more wood.
Yeah, a lot of the
So-
process, I mean, we used to pay, 'cause I was Elk Creek, I was at Mountain Life during their first startup of that. And I think we had 4 churches that put in, but it always cost about $1,200 a truckload.
Yep.
So if that money could help offset that,
Yep.
it'd be huge.
It would be huge. And so that's kind of my plan in the next couple of weeks, is just to see what they need help basically to facilitate and what they already have going. Because obviously it's been running for 12 something years, so they have some sort of program.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just like to help them make this a bigger program. However, Valley County can help with that, right?
Absolutely.
We have talked to him about it, using Lake Fork. Some of the issues that came up is the insurance. A lot of people working with chainsaws and,
Yep.
those kinds of issues on county ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was some concerns on what type of insurance they would be able to provide for liability purposes.
Okay.
But then I love the grant idea. I'm just concerned because Mackenzie is pretty booked right now.
Yes.
So I don't know that we would be writing a grant on their behalf, but I can certainly figure out what they need and then figure
And
out
maybe
how
just
that can
helping
help.
facilitate for them to write it,
Yeah.
and get them on the right path to be able to do this year after year.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's money coming out of whatever sources they're pulling from, but this is a funding mechanism that not a lot of counties are using. And there's a
Nice.
lot of money there.
Where's it
that,
coming from?
it's Alliance Green Heat.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually federal money
Mhm.
again, from the infrastructure bill that's set aside specifically for firewood banks. And a lot of them are just privately owned firewood banks, and they might only get $2 or $5 grand. But you can get up to 20 grand for some of these grants, especially for ones that do
community-wide,
a
yeah.
lot more cords.
Yeah.
So the ones that I'm pretty sure Woodstock does between 50 and 100 cords a year.
Mhm.
They do a lot.
They do a lot.
So the funding out there for them specifically would be a lot higher than some of these smaller ones that would only do 5 to 20.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's pretty much in the northern side of the valley. So if they could expand and, help the southern, then
Yeah.
that would be good to do too. So
Mm-hmm.
nice.
But that's kind of one of my little fun things that I'm trying to help out with. So see what they need help with that.
Yeah, Lake Fork would be a great place. It takes up a lot of room. I mean, we always historically done it below the smoke jumper base.
Yes.
It's where we've always done it in the past. It's kind of cramped in there, but it's,
I know that they moved to that ground right next to Mountain Life is where they've
Mhm.
had the last couple years.
mhm.
So working at SIPA, we would go out there and help cut wood every summer since I've been
Nice.
there. So for the last 9 years, I've been helping with that aspect. So,
I love the collaboration.
Yeah, it's fun.
but those are some of the main things that are going on right now, and to updating some of the, like I said, CWPP and subdivision, and reviewing all those kind of documents is kind of on my docket right now.
Well, as
So-
soon as Steph gets back, then you'll probably be in a vehicle driving around with her a lot too.
Yes.
So that's going to start taking up some of your time. So.
Yep, and I should be able to get a vehicle, like around April 1st is what Doug Miller said. So they have to switch the plates and all the things. So should be able to
Nice.
get that up to Lake Fork.
Awesome.
And then last week I actually did do a field day with Moss, which was super interactive, and they had a lot of great questions. And then it was able to ask one of their professors if they wanted to be joint in the Valley County Fire Working Group, which we've never had a representative from Moss before. So
Awesome. I just mentioned that to Juan due to some other interactions in the local colleges. And yeah, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yep. So we have a lot of good feedback from them with that. And then in next week, next Monday, I actually have another Moss presentation. So I'm definitely starting to reach out to them more, which is cool because Ponderosa Park is starting to include fire and fire wising more into their their park. So
management.
Mhm.
And yeah, if we can figure out some things on the IDL ground up there, the endowment lands for conservation, we're going to have a lot more conversation about how we manage that,
Mhm.
or what that underlying ownership looks like. So having some management tools is going to be awesome.
Mhm. Cool. That's all I got.
Good. Perfect.
Thank you, Maura.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next scheduled meeting is not until 10:45, so we will shut down for a few minutes, take a break, and we'll be back at 10:45. You know what, well, I guess we had a couple of them that weren't here today, that would have pushed us to the 10:30.
Got a question for you. Oh, okay.
It's always hard to know if we
Oh,
should
it's really
schedule a
hard to
break or
tell, but yeah,
not.
we were missing two.
Yeah, so that would have,
Johanna and Sue, so we're missing 3 elected. I feel like
oh, yeah,
time-wise, we're probably pretty good.
yeah, we're probably, and it just feels
Don't
like we
really-
have more time to discuss everything, so I
Yeah.
really like it.
Not pressure.
Yeah.
Rushing.
Yeah.
And you don't need if the break ends up only being, if they go a little long, then
Yeah.
you only get 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
better than-
All we really need is a bathroom break really quick, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where?
Oh, I gotta call my husband.
That sounds like me. Stuff I would do. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Bye. Morning, Harry.
How are you? Good. Is that over on the Oregon coast?
He is
That's what I thought.
enjoying life. I didn't want to say he was on vacation in case somebody wanted to steal from him, then he'd blame it all on me, so.
Right. Oh, that'll be fun for him.
Yeah, a good break. Morning, Joel.
Well, he's taking the whole family too, so that's cool.
Yeah.
All the girls and grandkids.
I'm jealous. I'd love to be over there right now.
Oh, it's one
Doug's
of
in
our favorite
Hawaii.
places. Yeah.
Hey, Scott. On that Ameritidal building, I need to call AmeriGas and have them go down and look at, I guess underneath the fireplace, there is a lockout in there, and then in the AmeriGas outside where the tank is stored, there's a lockout in there. Like there may have been some kind of a leak or something. So
Where do they have the tank at? Because we were kind of looking around for that. Is it buried in the ground or is it?
it looks to me like, oh, it's buried in the ground. Did you get the copy of the property inspection?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Matt just sent me an update this morning with the new stuff that was in it as far as he came down and flew the drone again.
Harry? How are you? Doing well, buddy.
And I've sent that to a roofing contractor. My brother-in-law used to be a roofing contractor. And I'm sending it to him to take a look at and see what he thinks too. He's a,
Yeah.
I will forward this on to you and then you can take a look. There was a couple of other things that he had brought up in this latest version of it, so.
I talked to him a little bit. He's not real familiar with commercial buildings. Mitch and I did a pretty thorough walkthrough of it last week.
Ugh. Something's going on downstairs also. Smells bad down there. I don't know if it's something in that refrigerator or not.
Down here?
Mhm.
No.
Cartography went home
It's
to,
a new refrigerator.
yeah, it shouldn't be, I mean, within stuff that people are storing in the refrigerator. I'll send out an email and tell people to go and get their stuff out, or I'll go clean it out on Wednesday, but we, Lori had to go home today. It smells terrible down there. So,
I was down there earlier when I brought my timesheets. I didn't notice it's there, but it's not as bad as like.
Hmm.
Recycle center?
It was well, it's closed up last week, so I'll have to fix the thing. Yep.
You might look at that. I should swing in and just look at
Well,
it.
we dug it up because we had to dig those trenches across, because we had to put those bond beams across for the concrete and stuff, so they got disturbed, but I mean, it's not any different than it used to be when I had to drive to the satellite sites, so. But, we may have to bring in some more, see if we can get some of that, crushed asphalt. Because that's what we had in there. Like I say, they dug across it to tie those paths together. So they may have got a lot of dirt contaminants into it.
so you guys are joining us today for a conversation on the transfer?
Not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, so. Yeah, I was gonna say, we don't have any action items on here today.
We lose Gabby?
Yeah, we don't meet until 10:45, so we still have a few more minutes. I'm gonna go back downstairs and go see what that smells about.
Yeah, Mitch and I got up there, I was gonna discuss it with you during the time anyway, so. Cause it's not coming from the refrigerator, it's coming from the ductwork.
Smell?
Interesting.
Great.
Please just excuse that. Vacation or travel, doing something, no. He's not running.
He has, yeah. I've just seen some signs of election here, obviously, for.
Yeah, when it is time. I got about a year and a half. You do? Good for you. Yeah, I don't actually live in that county. Who's on my staff has a house down here in Cruz. My wife and I, because she works, pays on. So we come down Sunday night, go home Thursday night. We live between those mountains. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to start mowing my grass. A lot warmer than here. Oh my, all the irises are up about 6-8 inches.
Yeah, somebody's at golf with texted me yesterday, said it was 65 degrees on the golf course yesterday. It was like, only 25 degrees where I'm standing.
Yeah, it was 65, 64, 65 on Friday, and it rains Saturday and Sunday. 2 weeks ago, it was 71 on Sunday.
Yeah, we got that weather down there too.
Yeah, so.
Can't move out of here soon enough. I wouldn't, you know, I mean, it's pretty bad in Lori's office. So what do you think we can do about it? Anything?
Well,
Or dead.
thinking, that like 2 years ago was in Dee Dee's, when Dee Dee was in the office north of that. It got bad in there, but it was more of a decomp smell. And it went away. We didn't really experience it last year, but it seemed about this time of year. But then again, I don't know if the earthquake, you know, we pulled like the return back out, because there's, what it is, the units, you'll see those big plates that are in front of the doors as you go in. Of course, everything's right in front of the door, so you gotta. The units up there that used to be fed by the boiler. And they kind of use that plenum, and it actually goes down even in the walls and the hallways is all open. And the boiler, it was for heat from the boiler, now it's all abandoned up there. And there's also, I can see cast iron vent lines coming from the kitchen sink. But there's also a vent line that runs back on the wall south of you go in the door to the break room, that south wall, which there's nothing in it. But there's a cast iron line I can see is going down it for some reason. So I don't know if we had it's got a, it's kind of sewers, it's kind of got a sweet smell to it too.
Drive cameras that
Yeah, but we thought if we blocked up all the venting, I think it's going down into the
but
walls.
just give me this information.
It's almost a one for one.
So he has to send us a long email about bringing the truck in.
Disaster response or something. Open up walls.
You don't need to reply to her. You just need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
We don't have any place else to put her. I would figure it all out. There's two of them in there. She and Kathy are both in there.
That kind of strange because we've never, it kind of stopped, kind of from the break room north.
Next week, same thing.
We didn't notice it at all in her office last week.
I'll tell you.
Definitely in her office today. I wouldn't work in there either, actually.
You don't like that mold stuff?
It smells like dead rats in there, dead something in there. It's terrible. And we really don't have any place to put her. So, we've got photography in there, and she can do some of this stuff from home, but a lot of that, she needs her equipment. She's,
No. Good. This appraisal comes in okay, and we get the building. Sure change up the world for us for having space here.
Problem is that it's gonna be, I mean, we gotta move those two sooner rather than later, just. happening with everything else. And that's
Cracking where?
cracking in the basement, in the boiler room, right underneath. That's,
Really?
it looks pretty bad right now.
That's awesome.
No, it's not. She needs out of there sooner rather than later. And can maybe transition over a little more quickly, but or stay here for a little while. But I don't know if the market is going to move. They may have to now. And what happens next? We got 5 more minutes, and then Gabby will come back.
Said they had another good earthquake down there. Clear Creek, 3 point something.
A couple weeks ago.
A couple days ago. They was reading on it on the deal, and they just had another one down there. So something's getting hammered down there.
Yeah, they're going all the time. There was just another one, 1.74 a couple minutes ago.
Something's shaking and moving.
Yeah, all over Stanley is too. 1.74 12 hours ago. Just flagged me on it.
We came across one guy, a rocket came out the road and his boat trailer hit it, threw his boat off the trailer and down over the side. It wasn't upside down. It was just about
on the way to Chalice.
We were just north of Stanley on our way to Chalice. And the cop was there with him, but it was like, oh my goodness, it's scary. Your boat just rock was still in the road. I mean, the rock was as big as my deal here, about this tall. It was like, yeah, let that tire hit it, ejected it.
Or the guy that ran off the road and into the river last week.
I saw that.
Down for a while.
And they crawled out of it, both of them unhurt.
Easy.
Oh my goodness.
Glad I sent you that report. There's a couple things on there. I know Brian's working on a couple things. I'm working on a couple things. We probably all should put our heads together and see what else we need to finalize before next week. Whenever you're ready, we'll get started. Welcome back to our morning meeting for March 25th. Up next is Building and Grounds. Scott?
Morning.
Good morning.
So, as you know, Baylor's back up and running again
Yay.
and stuff. So we have a whole new hydraulic pump on it. Everything. It's
So are they
out-
covering that under warranty?
Yeah, this is all
Okay.
warranty, so it doesn't cost. The only thing, and we experience is the inconvenience, and the constituents, happen. But no, it's all covered. They think it's just only a solenoid on the hydraulic pump, but Wesco wanted the whole pump replaced, so they did. So we still have the old pump. Might see what we can get another solenoid for it, and maybe just have it checked out, make sure it's sound, the pump, so we have a backup spare for it.
That's a great idea.
Colton, who operates it, says it actually is quieter than it ever's been, even when it was new. So, it had a faulty pump to start with. But he's up and going again and stuff there. That's going. We have we'll have it next week. We have we'll have some contracts for heat pump replacements here. We have 2 need to be replaced. One in the ceiling of the second story jury room, and then we have one on the 3rd floor in electrical room where IT is up there, because they have a server in there now too. So we need to, right now they've been cooling it with the door open from their room. So get those legal has the contracts right now for review. So next week they'll have an action item, get those replaced. This Wednesday, we're gonna put in the ductless split for the IT server room up here. So we'll get that here before summer gets here. And if we have an issue with the heat pump in there, we'll have backup for it and stuff. So, then we also, they're getting me a timeline on replacing the exhaust louvers on the cooling tower up there that have probably been closed for the last, I don't know, before I was here.
That the same ones we've been talking about for a while?
Well,
Or is this something new?
Well, I've discussed it with you, and we've got a signed bid with ACO to replace them. Some time prior to I was here, something went wrong with the controls on the louvers, and so they just took them off controls. And Scott was just opening the inlet with a pipe wrench in the spring and closing them in the winter, but the exhaust ones were never getting open and closed, and basically they're froze shut. They were able to pry them slightly open this last spring when we discovered it when we did the control works, when they put the controls on. So basically that thing's been deadheaded for I don't know how many years. It's been bringing in the air going through the cooling tower and then just deadheading against those closed louvers.
So is that a swamp cooler up there, or what is
Well,
it?
it's a cooling tower.
Just
It's
a
kind of
cooling
yeah.
tower.
It cools the water that cools the compressors in the heat pumps. is
Okay.
what it does. It doesn't actually provide cooling to the rooms but it cools the compressor that does cools
Right,
the rooms.
does
So
the refrigerant and everything.
yeah.
Okay.
So we should see a lot better efficiency. We put the drive on it last year and stuff. So we should see some improvement with that. I was talking with Pete from Valleywide because we put the new vaporizers on the propane tanks because they started failing. And he said one of the things, because they track the amount of gas to know when to come fill them, and we're actually using less gas now with the new vaporizers on there. So
Nice.
yeah, so they must be working more efficiently. The working with Toby on the for the arena down there and trying to get something finalized. So we have some prints or something that we can put out a request for proposal to build the bathroom concession stand, everything down there so we can get that going. So one thing is the guy that did design it, Toby's he's kind of concerned. He's doing all this work and he's going to get nothing, if he doesn't get the bid, then he's done all the work for nothing, but, so we're trying to get that so we can get a request for proposal out there so we can get that started too.
We'll have our fair board meeting on Wednesday, I believe.
This Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up
there.
Lake
One
Cafe.
thing that we've talked about, you might bring this up too, is when our Clearwater Financial was here last week before, we talked about putting some money aside to go ahead and do a full proposal or a full schematic down there for what that fairground could look like in the future. So Mackenzie just did that $50,000 grant for the GEM grant in order to do that as a planning mechanism. So I don't, it's really difficult to know where the best place is for that bathroom, but just make sure that wherever it goes, whatever decision you guys make, it doesn't block further access to, like if we do get that Emerititle building and need to get back into that area, nothing blocks future expansion of the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
So
where it's going to go is it's going to go right on the north end of the arena because it's going to be the bathrooms, concession, and then on top of that, it's going to be the announcer stand. So it's going to be right on the north end of the arenas where it's proposed to go.
And I don't think that'll be an issue because it's all kind of encompassed
Yeah.
in the arena itself. And then anything outside of that, if there's an event center, if there's blah, blah, blah down the road, that's a whole different mechanism that's going to have to take its own space.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's where we're looking at, but we're just gonna, eliminate the old building, take the utilities right there, just turn them and go right to the new building and stuff. So
That
that's
makes sense.
the plan on that.
Perfect. Exciting.
Like I say, Mitch and I walked through, well, we met with Premier Elevator, who's doing our maintenance here. He looked at the deal. We're looking at about, a proposal, Oki has it, sent to you guys too, but it's about $7,000 to fix that elevator.
Fix it?
Fix it, yeah, because it's just not functional right now.
Which one is this?
It's the elevator. It's in the
Maritidal.
north end of the Maritidal
Oh,
building,
the
where
elevator.
where you go into the prosecutor's office. It's right there on the
Mhm.
west side, and stuff. There's oil in the pit and stuff, so they're going to have to raise it up, clean the pit. There's Victaulic high pressure fittings down there they need to replace, and then about another 50 gallons of hydraulic oil in it.
Is this Schindler or is this Otis?
No, this is Premier Elevator.
Premier
Yeah.
Elevator.
Mhm. Yeah. Dean used to work for Schindler and started Premier, and they're the ones that do the maintenance on ours, the three we have here.
Mhm.
This, right
Okay.
now. So I got that proposal to Oki, so that'll be include that. And I met with the gentleman last week. We looked at the roof, so I think he's amended his inspection report to reflect that. Another thing is, Mitch and I were going through, there's makeup air units, which whenever you get into a large building now, they have the makeup and exhaust airs, because when you get a lot of people in a small space, the air can get bad. So part of the problem with this old part of the building, it doesn't have it. The 3-story does in the jail, and it does have them down there, but they're having to shut them off in the winter. So there's no fresh air in the winter in there, because they put them in, but they didn't put any heat into them. See, the ones we have for the 3-story and for the jail have heat. So when you got below zero air coming in, you're not bringing that into the building and competing against your heaters and stuff. Down there, they don't have heat. They don't have heat coils or anything in them, so they've just been going up and shutting them off in the winter. So we get it, and we get a lot of bodies in there. In the winter, could get some stagnant air in there.
We could put, I know we put ERVs in a lot of the buildings we do,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always wiring about a 60 amp,
Mhm.
heat strip in them.
Yeah.
So something like that would
Mhm.
heat the air up as it's coming in.
Yeah.
That's what
Any
they,
idea what the cost would be to do something like that? Because we're gonna have to put this as part of our negotiation. So if we have costs, then it would be great to have that.
yeah, we'd have to get that from a A1 heat and air people, YMC, somebody.
Yeah,
Would
we
have
have
to
to have
give us
someone come up and look
something.
at it. I mean, even ACO, it does our work, or Cascade Refrigeration, but
Mhm.
they need some heat in them, so we don't have to shut them off in the winter, because we got there, the louvers form, one faces out the north end, this end, when you look at the building, you see them up there in the peak, and then the other one actually goes out the east side of the building, but they're both off right now, and it's because they don't want to bring that cold air in to,
Could you get a bid on that?
yeah, look at
Okay, that'd be great.
getting that done.
Send that
and
to
stuff,
Brian
'cause
too.
it's gonna need it. There's only gonna be a lot of filters in that place. There's a lot of units and stuff. And then we're gonna inspect the boiler this week also. So Wednesday we gotta go down, shut it off in the morning, and so they can take it apart and inspect it.
So the boiler, does that heat coils in the furnaces or in the air handlers, or is that floor heated in the basement?
No, it's to the forced air furnaces. There's the 3 down in the basement there, and then you go clear up the top story up there, and we got a count on them. There was like 10 or 12 up above.
So the boilers are just pushing hot water through coils.
Yeah, they're hot water boilers, not a steam boiler. They're hot water boilers. What they
Right.
are.
And then down the road, we'll put Wi-Fi stats in there.
Yeah.
Not part of this.
Yeah. So yeah, I can get a bid on looking what it costs to heat the makeup air going in
Be
there.
great. Anything that we're gonna have to do and fix, then we need a bid on, so we know how
Yeah.
to negotiate with that.
Yeah, and we have to look at also doing some type of either heat tapes or something. He may have it in his report up the valley, kind of on this northeast side there, because this year it wasn't bad, but last year we had the snow. I mean, we had ice jam in that valley and had icicles that almost hung to the ground.
Mhm.
I'm afraid one of those would break off and go through a window is what I was kind of thinking about 2 years ago. This year, our winter wasn't bad enough to have that problem this year. But
Yeah, heat thing won't get rid of the icicles, but it'll get the water off the roof.
well, yeah, if it keeps the ice dam from forming, then we shouldn't,
They help.
maybe nice, originally when you put the roof down, you got the mats and stuff they put under them now,
Mhm.
under there.
Now that what you're writing down there, Sherry, we really can't make them pay for those ERBs. That'd be something we'd have to add. It wasn't broke, it was just,
not
Uh,
they never got installed.
Yeah,
It's not
they
working.
didn't, they didn't,
It's
they
not
didn't put it in the
functioning
design,
correctly.
yeah, is what they did, so.
There's also, though, there's a heating, crawl space heater fan.
Yeah,
Furthest
it's,
from the access, you
yeah,
saw that?
we looked at that.
That
They
needs to
were-
be fixed too.
Yeah, and
There's
it's
definitely-
actually a water to air heater. It runs off the boiler. It's in the space down there in the basement floor there. You go back into the electrical room, or back in there, there's a little stairway that goes up and there's a crawl back under there and they heat that space. And it's got one of the little units. It's got hot water to it, but the fan motor might be something we can just, they can
Conditioned space back in there.
yeah, they have a conditioned space under that floor there. So it needs a new motor put in it, is what it needs. Fan
There's
motor.
water in the crawl space too, which is always interesting. You didn't see any active leaking, but
No.
who knows where that came from or if it's
Yeah.
just
Or if it's just condensation under there.
condensation.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you have anything else to run into? That's about all we observed right there, when we went through. We're just gonna have to get a count on filters and stock them up and get them on a schedule. There's some pretty nasty looking filters they've pulled out up there that they haven't thrown away, so I don't know when the last time they were changed up there.
They haven't been staying on top of their maintenance.
Yeah. And there is, Brian, on the east side over there, they got a dead tree that needs to come out and stuff. Other than that, then on the scale house up there at the transfer site, we're gonna have to put a new floor in that. I mean, it's just, it's wore out. It's places where the squares, the 12-inch squares where they roll their chairs around, they're totally missing stuff. So we're gonna have to look at next year is getting in there and having one of the flooring companies put a new floor in that. It needs it up there.
Is that the only thing that needs done? Does it need painted or anything before we replace flooring?
No,
No?
I don't think, other than that, it's just the flooring has gotten, like I say, they're rolling around their chairs and it's wore out.
You might want to give them chair mats.
Yeah. Well, that's
For
what
the
we have
future.
over the holes right now
Got it.
and stuff.
Maybe we need to do it before there's holes in the carpet.
Yeah. So, other than that, that's about all I have right now, other than, like I said, we discussed the mysterious smell that showed up down there. Like I say, I don't know if it's something in the earthquake, if we had a no hub fitting and, because it's, I've dealt with a lot of sewer gas over the years, plumbing, and it's kind of got the smell, but it doesn't either. It's, and,
Where's this at?
it's in the
Photography room.
break room area right there. You kind of start where Mara's using the one office. It was DD's. And we noticed it in that office and in the break room real bad. Like I say, when Mitch and I were pulling vents out and sticking our heads up in there and looking around, we didn't really notice it any farther down past the break room. But like I
Needs
say,
to
that
be.
they kind of did a false
Bad in the cartography.
let them there. You can see that drop ceiling, and there's 3 units.
What if you put some kind of could you put a filter or some kind of a block, just north of the break room in that thing or?
Yeah, like I said, I don't know where it's coming from. The strongest smell seems to come from the break room area, and it's kind of radiating each direction from there. So how about, we're gonna have to take the break room down. I'm not gonna have one, because we're gonna have to, I'd like to take the unit out or see what's going on in there. Like I say, I can see cast iron no hub vent, old drain lines. I don't know if our shake loosened something up. We had the smell 2 years ago in Dee Dee's office, and then kind of when spring passed, it went away. And we didn't really experience it last year, but something,
Wonder if it's a backup in the city service some way.
I don't know, you know, if we got a
It's in
plugged vent, we
spring.
need to get up on the roof. Make sure we don't have a plugged vent on the roof.
Cast iron, it cracked.
Cracked
What
or
pain.
no hub band, you know, it pulled out of it with the shake we had, or we could possibly have an abandoned one. Like I said, there's one that seems to be running east out over the south wall in the break room. There's nothing in the wall, no plumbing or anything there. There's nothing up above it. It may just be abandoned line. Maybe they didn't cap it properly, or I mean, we rebuilt the P trap under the sink. There was an open hub in a cabinet next door. We plugged it. We blocked off the vents, but it still was coming out of the walls or something somewhere.
No open floor drain somewhere that's dried up.
Well, that's with, you know, if we're standing at the sink on the right side, you open that cabinet, there's an open P trap sitting there, just wide open. And so we plugged it up. We cleaned out the P trap, put a new P trap and everything on the sink because it was all gunked up and stuff. We thought we could smell it up in there, so we blocked off the vents, see if we could trap it up inside the space. But
Good heavens. I hate this building. This building is such a pain.
We're stuck with it.
Oh, yeah, we're stuck with it.
yeah,
Whatever you got to do, Scott, we need to figure out,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean,
a
I was-
plan and then just,
if it's the
Move
point
forward.
where, you know, have someone come,
we're going to be here for quite some time
Yeah.
before we're able to move people out. So we can't have them
yeah,
smelling sewer
Don't
gas. if
don't
that's
they
what
have
it is.
guys that you can do the, I've seen my guys, one of them has a camera, they can run down the pipe.
yeah, I have sewer cameras and stuff. Yeah, but like I say, we got a good trap on the sink. We've plugged up that open hub in the cabinet, and we blocked off all the inlet and outlets to that old system up above, and it's still radiating out of that room up somewhere in there. So,
Well, give us a plan. I mean, that's all we can do. If we're going to have to take down a wall or we're going to have to do something, we're going to have to do it. So
yeah, I mean, it's that point when we pulled out because there's return ducts up there that aren't hooked to any ductwork because those the unit just blew out into the room, and they put return ducts, you know, to pull fresh air in. We took them out and stuck our heads up there with flashlights. We can't see anything. We can't. You kind of nose kind of gets used to the smell, so it seems like it's kind of gone away. Yeah, we just can't locate it. So, like I
if
said,
we
we're
need
gonna
to
have to start.
hire,
Yep.
if we need to hire somebody to come in and look at it, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, Doug's still working on that earthquake damage. I don't know if he ever got that to, you know, if he had any idea if he went ICRAMP. I know last week we were still working on the verbiage on the sending that in. So maybe we could add that to it and just have those guys, you know.
Yeah, because it seems
look
it
at
started since then. So I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with it. It's got us scratching our heads. Like I say, we spent a couple days last week, Mitch and I did, pulling vents, sticking our heads up, looking around, blocking them off, rebuilding traps.
Right.
Everything else.
Good job.
Do you want me, Doug's gone all week, isn't he? I'm assuming. So we could probably get a name from somebody to call over at ICRAMP and see if we'd be able to add, you know, that to that insurance claim. Just to see what's going on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's about all I have right now.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You know if Mackenzie's coming in person or? Okay.
Okay, Mark.
So let's go ahead then and we will be back at 11:30. We can get Jeff up here sooner, maybe we'll get started a little sooner.
Was Mark here just to meet with Scott?
Nothing on the agenda. I think it's probably Scott too, so.
Is Kenzie coming up?
No, this one's Mackenzie Kramer. It sounds like she's not available, so yeah, I need her help on a letter response to that road development, and so if she's on spring break this week, that's gonna be a problem.
So Mackenzie's the one that does our website, is that correct?
She does all of our PR.
Yep, yep, yep.
All right,
Don't have nothing until 11:30?
11:30.
Hmm.
So did you read the letter from the road advisory group? I think we need to respond. I've
I
asked
thought that was
Mackenzie.
disbanded.
It is disbanded.
Why are we getting a letter from these guys?
Because they want it in the newspaper. They
Look
sent
at
it to the
that and
newspaper.
going,
before
why, why do you guys have any voice at all?
They gave us their letter of resignation officially, and why they did it. It's a political ploy. They don't want the levy moving forward, and so they're trying to trash it. And so I am going to respond. I wanted Mackenzie to respond with me, but if she's on vacation this week, it might be my response. The newspaper.
I wasn't pleased with their feeling. It's like, really? You guys
Oh,
just trying to
I am
justify your
furious. Furious. Yep. A lot of what they complained about, they had legitimate complaints. But we did listen. We adopted their road standards. We didn't hold Jeff accountable, but he is telling me that he is doing their road standards.
Mhm.
We are hiring an engineer at their request. We purchased software in order to improve that. They just are mad because we didn't fire Jeff.
And that's not their place.
That's not their place.
And, you know, I was talking to a guy this weekend, a commissioner, two or three commissioners over Custer County. They're dealing with the same road crap that we are. They can't, so people fussing, can't you at least come in and do something? You can't until it dries up a little
Yeah.
bit. And they're just,
Time of year.
this
Way on
time of
mud
year, and people
Leave for
that
mud
lived
season.
here for a long time, they understand. People that have moved in, well, I don't understand. Well,
Sorry. You moved
sorry.
to an area
That's
that
what
is
it
mud
Are
season.
you talking about our roads?
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's just what it
You
is.
don't understand.
They don't. Newbies do not understand it.
So Harry, question for you.
Yeah.
Since you know roads, so our road advisory board is very upset. They have now disbanded and quit, which might be a good thing, but their concerns is that Jeff wasn't doing the basic road maintenance that needed to be done. Did you ever see areas where basic road maintenance is not being accomplished?
So that's really hard for me to answer. For one, I don't drive a lot of county roads.
Okay.
And,
That's fair.
you know, what happens with the state in comparison is we have, let's say, 45 things to do, 50 things to do. And you try to prioritize that, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. You know, like when the tree thing came about, the state, and all of our, we call it the 380 area, which is Cascade, Bank Shop, and Loman Shop. We all went down and attacked that and got that done with 2 Sawyers and inmates. And we didn't get a chance to come up here and do any guttering, clean the rocks off the edge of the road and reshape our borrow ditches and whatnot. So just those unfortunate things happen, and I'm not gonna point fingers at Jeff or anybody. It's just things come into play unexpected.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Well,
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year he had Thunder City blow up, so he spent a
remember
month
that.
on Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very challenging thing, I'll tell you.
We're live.
And in rural are we live?
I thought she shows up.
In a rural area, it's very difficult.
Oh, it is.
I mean, it is.
Rural areas are tough anyhow.
Well, what it comes down to,